Okay. So I think we finally have it figured out. I think it was me the whole time. I'm not even going to tell you guys what I was doing wrong, but it happens. So let's see here. Let me see if I can get. All right. Legendary is in the house. Isn't that nice? Okay, so I apologize for the technical difficulties. It looked like it was on my end while you guys couldn't hear me, and I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me now because I believe I have resolved the issue. So, Legendary, can you hear me? Kay will be joining us back in a moment. Hey, my fave, can you hear me this time? I'm hoping people can hear me this time. I believe I have it figured out. All right, I'm getting Kay added in right now. And hopefully this time she can hear me because like I said, I believe the error was on my end. Can you hear me now?
Yes, okay. I
can. So, silly me, I have my phone on this, I guess you call it like it's a handheld, not a handheld, but something like a gimbal, but a cheaper version of it. And I had my phone in upside down, so it's covering my speakers. So that's why you guys couldn't hear me. So it was all on my end. So, but that's okay. I got it together now. Well, thank you. And I'm sorry about that, but welcome and thank you for joining us. How are you? Wait, let's see here. Okay. I lost Kay for a second there, but okay, great.
It's okay. I was really like, oh my God, I felt so bad. Like, I thought it was my phone.
No, it totally wasn't you. I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand because I know before when we tried to do it from a computer, it didn't work. You can invite somebody, but you can't talk, which is weird. And then
yeah.
So yeah, it was all me. I had my phone upside down. I have it together now, so it's cool. But I'm glad that we were able to finally link up. I know I had to postpone a couple times. I had a death in the family, so I do apologize for that.
Oh, no worries.
I do thank you for taking the time to even speak with us about your baby. Don't let me. So I have it with me here now. When I was going over, because I found you on Instagram last year. And I actually didn't find you under your author page. I found you through Bookish Brown Girls. And that's how I became familiar with you. And last year I was looking for to do at least 6 independent authors on the reading list for this year. And both of the hosts of Bookish Brown Girls actually made it to the list this year, you being one of them. So when I did do a little bit of research, I found that this is actually your first novel, full novel, but you have other works that you have published, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what made you go ahead and take the leap and have your first full novel?
I normally just like writing shorter novels, novellas mostly. If I get it, I feel like if I can finish the story, I'll finish it and not just add. I don't really like to just add just to have a word count. I don't do that. But for this story, I felt because I was going between what happened in the past and then what's happened presently, it needed to be longer to explain it properly.
Right.
Or for it to make sense, I guess, to the readers, I had to like write more. And I'm like, no, this is probably be like a novel, not a novella. So.
Okay. I can respect that. I like that. Now, that was one of the things I actually enjoyed, the fact that you went back and forth between the past and the present to really explain what was going on with Adrian and Leah. And I think that helped in giving the novel substance in the end. So when I first read it, I'm going through it, and you're like, one of the major motivating factors for Don't Blame Me was a Taylor Swift song. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I don't know that song, so let me listen to it. So I listened to it, and then at the end of the book, I found out that you have a whole playlist for the book. So my question is, were you going through something personally that led you to this path, or it's just something that came into your head and you decided to go with it?
So one of my best friends is like a really big Taylor Swift fan, and she dragged me, I want to say almost a year and a half ago. She was in New York City, where I live, at South Sea Seaport. She had like this pop-up shop, and her new album came out, and I heard the song the first time, and I was like, it's cold, it's December, I'm just like, I'm here because I love you, not because I want to be here. And when I actually listened to the words, I was like, that sounds like that kind of maybe toxic, but like really connected type of love. And I'm like, okay, like I can work with this. So I just like noted it in my phone. Like I kind of play around with the idea. And then how I imagine Adrian was actually, I'm a wrestling fan, so I watch wrestling. And one of the main guys, Roman Reigns, is how I saw Adrian in my head. And I was like, oh yeah, I can really, really play with this. So it was, once I got that down, and then I was like, I'm going to just write this story. And I was like excited enough. I was like, this will probably not be as short as like my other stuff. So I was like, okay, this could work.
Cool. I mean, I like it. Hey, Shirley. I really... I like the character of Leah because although she was hurt, she didn't like totally stop living. Maybe when it came to relationships, it was something different, but she still progressed to do what she, aspired to do when she went to college. She didn't let that breakup be the reason that she didn't become successful or anything else. Because a lot of times in stories, you'll hear that the female just couldn't live and couldn't progress and couldn't be successful or any of those things. So yeah. I like the fact that was different, and she still went on her path with her baggage. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just don't get that, and I appreciated that when I was reading it. Now, as far as Adrian, what was his deal?
Everybody who's read that book has said that to me. They was like, why was he such and I'm like, he was supposed to kind of get on your nerves. Kind of to the end, he was supposed to be like, I just want to slap him a couple of times, like get your shit together.
Yeah.
So I think it was just like, that was the way he was in my head. It was just like, he was kind of like hard-headed, and he kind of needed to, like, if you could shake a person and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? It's like, that was kind of how he was until he got to a place where he was like, okay, I need to like fix this, and I need to do that if I want her back. So I'm glad everybody, it's funny because that's what I wanted, but it's funny when people was like, oh my god, he got on my nerves so much, and I'm like, yeah, he kind of was supposed to get on your nerves. He was supposed to make you a little upset, like, oh my god, he's pissing me off. That was the way I saw him in my head. Like, he got on my nerves writing him. I'm just like, oh, you're just so aggravating. So it's cool when I hear people say like
because he was a mess, and I often wondered if he was going to get it together, and it was like, okay, at some point you have to see what's really going on here, but it leads to what really happens in real life. You start living for your parents, or for other people's aspirations, and not living for yourself. And although he had to take a different journey and he became successful at it, it really wasn't the journey he initially wanted, or probably even the way he had to do it had he went about it how he wanted to. And I thought that it was important for you to explain it how you did, because even though it didn't happen, in the perfect cookie cutter way, he learned his lesson. and sometimes you have to go through things in life in order to learn things. Hey,
Yeah.
Boo, I see you on here too. So I really appreciated all of that. So I was like, okay, this is my first book that I've read of Kay's, but I don't think it's going to be my last. So I thank you for putting out such a good book. Now,
Oh, thank you.
Do you have any other works that you're works in progress or anything like that that's going on?
Yeah. I'm finally working on. I have a series that I did book 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then it's with 3 brothers, so it's interracial 3 brothers, and the brother's Korean American, and for some reason, brother number 3 has been just not with it, and I can't get his story right at all, and I'm just like, sorry guys, that's actually why I started writing Don't Believe Me, because I was like, well, I need to write something because he's not with it. So I'm working, actually, brother 1 apparently needs another story, so I'm actually working on that now, and I'm finally glad I actually got where I was going with it, because I kind of got stuck.
Okay.
And then I went to a writing conference, and I was like, thank you, I needed this, because I was like, I felt more like able to kind of get back into the groove. So I'm hoping that actually will be out in December.
Okay.
Of this year. So I'm actually excited because that was the story that kind of got my award. So I was like, really, it was a hard story to write. It was really hard. So I guess kind of just giving them another part of their story. I'm happy that I can do that. So that's like the next definite thing I'm doing.
Okay.
And I'm working on another YA story, and another romance story that I want to do traditionally, so I'm not going to release it, I'm more going to query it. But that's kind of where I'm at right now as far as like writing, just like doing several things.
So you have several things going on, keeping yourself busy. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about Bookish Brown Girls?
So originally the idea was, I have children, but my oldest daughter was like saying something about how she really didn't see books by women of color. Mm-hmm. And I did show her, because YA is really good. I'm actually very happy that YA is so on it with diverse authors and giving them deals. And even though they still have their struggles, there seem to be a little bit ahead on the genre as far as making sure there's women of color writing. So I was like, well, if I can do something where I can kind of get all the women of color, no matter the genre, in like the same spot or the space, then I'm going to do that. So the initial goal was kind of just to have a platform to kind of lift up books written by women of color, raise awareness of books written by women of color. And if you're a writer of a woman of color who's a writer, then kind of just for support, because unfortunately, you would hope that the writing world is all like kumbaya and everybody wants, everybody to have a seat at the table. It's not like that, especially for women of color, especially for Black women. So I felt like if I can put something out there that can kind of get people like, oh yeah, well, I'm a Black woman who writes, I'm a Latina who writes, or oh, I found this book off this site and this led me to something else I could read, then that was the initial goal behind it. Mm-hmm. And then we decided with the podcast, it was just like, well, why not do a podcast? I'm like, I don't really like how my voice sounds. I hate my speaking voice, but it's been pretty cool doing that with BL. It's like we had interesting topics and sometimes we go on a little rant and stuff, but it's been really nice hearing the feedback of people who have listened. Like, I enjoy what you guys are doing. So
right. I think
it got a little more than I thought originally, mm-hmm. but I like it, and I have people notice that I didn't think would notice, like they were like really big authors, and I was like, you know what this is, and blew me away, because I was like, I have my Instagram page and I do have Twitter, but Instagram's where I am mostly with that page, and I was very happy that it's noticed. Like, people are like, I see what you're trying to do, and I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that. So.
Absolutely. And I personally have listened to I haven't listened to all episodes, but I have listened to a few of the episodes, and they always keep me entertained. I'm usually laughing right along with you guys. But I think that is awesome that you're, doing your part on empowering other women of color, and especially with writing and promoting literacy and helping others. It's all good work, no matter how small of an audience you reach or how large of an audience you reach. Just reaching that one person is enough, in my opinion. So You know, I think you guys should definitely keep going with it because I think it's awesome work. And the only other thing I would probably want to know is, what is your favorite book?
Ooh, this is so hard because I like books off of genre. Like, I write romance and I write young adult, but my favorite genre is the horror genre. So I'm like a really big Stephen King fan. I love Stephen King. Like, I tell people, like, if I ever meet him, I'm probably gonna cry, and like, because he's actually the reason why I started reading books quickly, where I had to read. He was like kind of one of the first authors. I probably shouldn't have been reading him when I was reading him, but I think I was like 7. But my mom had them, and I was just like taking them off a bookcase and just reading them. So he's like my favorite author of all time. So his book will be Carrie. That's my favorite one of his because the way it's written. And then I'm a big Toni Morrison fan. I was really hurt that she passed away like 2 days. It really hurt because I was like, she's one of my first Black women that I've read, right, and kind of got me into wanting to write. And so I took it really hard, and I actually was talking to BL about it because she was like messaging me, and I'm just like, I'm processing this right now. I don't know. Like, obviously people don't live forever, but it's like, she's Toni Morrison. You'd hope she'd be like forever, and I feel like her work speaks for her, and that would live on forever, but it did hurt. So she's like one of my favorite authors as well. So I took that hard because I was like,
I was gonna ask you about that
Toni
too, because I again, like, I knew she was, you know, older, but I just wasn't. It was so unexpected, and especially with the promotion of her documentary and everything, it just totally caught me kind of off guard. But I rather focus on the greatness that, you know, she's left, and actually had an opportunity to see it in its realization. You know, it didn't have to happen once she passed on before we were able to pay homage and honor and respect to the great that she is. So I was going to ask you about that, but you already covered it. But Toni Morrison is definitely a great loss, but she is forever written in history, that's for sure.
Yes.
But I didn't want to keep you too long. Like I said, I just really wanted to take a moment to discuss Don't Blame Me and how I felt about it, because I don't know if you had an opportunity to read my review yet. I think, yes, you did. You did see it. But when I write reviews, I don't do it. I do it on what actually spoke to me personally, that what touched me and, you know, makes me reflect on a story. And I think it's important that you always try to take something away from it personally so that you can grow, because I'm on a personal growth journey myself. And that's the importance of reading to me, that you always find something that you can take and grow from it. And with you, didn't lack in any way in that regard. And again, I thank you for allowing me to grow further in myself and understanding on how to just be a better person and to accept myself and follow my own path and journey. You have contributed to that, and I thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, you know, like I said, I really didn't want it to be too long, because it's the middle of the week, it's summertime, and we're all moms, and I understand that. So, the only thing that I did want to ask you about, because I knew last Friday was the only Friday that you really weren't available, and you went to an award ceremony. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, I'm part of Romance Writers organization, which is like the big thing of romance writers, and they have the national conference every year. And this year was in New York City, and it's very pricey. And I was like, well, if I can't go to any of the other ones, I have to make sure I make it to the one that was in New York, since I live here. So it's like, it was there for the week, and then Friday they had the award ceremony, which is like the Oscars of the romance world. So if you win one of those, it's like winning an Oscar, it's like winning a Grammy. So I did go to the award ceremony, but I was like gone all day because I was like getting ready for it, and then like networking and stuff. So I was happy that I was there. It was very overwhelming because it was my first really big writer conference, and it was like a lot to take in, and I learned a lot. But I was happy because for the first time in the 37 years that RWA has been in existence, we got 2 Black women win. Kennedy Ryan and Mix Malone, and I was so happy just to be part of that environment, that we finally got 2 Black women to win this award when this was started. This organization was started by a Black woman, yet we've never had a Black winner, which was, to me,
Wow.
I found that out this year, that a Black woman even started the organization. It was like, and Black women are treated, they're kind of treated as if like oh well, we have some members, but it's I don't want to get like upset about it, but it's just like, I was glad that my chapter president put that out there during the awards, and the writing room made sure that everybody else knew that the diverse women who write romance were not going anywhere, and we're here to stay. And I was just really happy. It was so nice to like be a part of like, oh, we got not only one but two Black women finally win this award, and it's like the most prestigious you can have for romance writers. So it was really nice being a part of that. But I really was barely home all week. I was like in and out of that hotel doing these conferences and doing the workshops and networking and the events. So I was like so exhausted. I'm like, yeah, I would not be like, it took me a couple of days to recover.
To recuperate,
just to process. Like, this is a lot to process. But it was a good experience, so I appreciated that I was able to do it this year, because I don't know about when the next time I'll be able to do it, because it is pricey. But yeah, that was the reason. It was just like that conference was going on, and the night award ceremony happened that night. So it was just like, yeah, I will not be anywhere near a computer. I really didn't check email or anything. It was crazy. When I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. So my email was a mess. It was just bad. But good experience. So, I mean, I felt it was just nice to be able to see kind of history being made, because that's pretty much what happened. And it was nice to see that, like, to finally see, like, we got two Black women winning this award, when there's so many who should have won it don't have one.
And you know, sometimes it's hard to even imagine and to realize that you specifically partake in, you know, or being present for history making events that will be told, you know, years to come, you know, later on, to know that, you know, when you're talking to your grandchildren or your great-great-grandchildren, say, you know, I was there for that. And I think that's awesome. It's sad that we still have to make those moments, but to be able to be part of them, it's bittersweet. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that's exactly what the feeling was. It was just like, you're like, oh, this is 2019. Why is this even a big deal? But then, yes, finally, like, it's like, it was like that kind of a thing. So
absolutely,
it was nice being a part of that.
Absolutely. That's really awesome. Oh, our number one chapter cheer fan is here. Hey, how you doing? But
Hi.
You know, as I said, I just thank you for your role that you're doing to you know, write books and to share it with others. Now, I keep saying one last thing because I'm such a talker. I do apologize.
It's fine.
If there was one book out of everything that you've written that is just your number one baby, and that if I read anything next, it has to be this, what would it be?
I would say Catch Me If I Fall. I think the subject, I felt like that was probably like, Don't Blame Me got me to a place, but Catch Me If I Fall, that was a really, really hard book to write, because of not only the subject matter, but like the process the character, especially the heroine, had to go through to get to her end. It was a really the process was hard to write, and hard as like a person watching it. It was like, I'm writing it, but I'm watching it happen at the same time, and it was hard. And a lot of people was like, oh my god, and I'm like, yeah, that was kind of, I was worried because it wasn't like my other stuff I wrote before that, but I was like, I was proud of this, and I was like, I know, like, it might be a little hard for some part. People thought it was my life. I was like, whoa, no. no. It is not my life. I mean, there's parts, obviously, I was put in my books. There's always a piece of me that goes in my books. But I was like, no, this did not happen to me. And it's literally just me fictionally writing this. But I would say that's probably the one I always tell people, like, if you want something that might make you a little teary-eyed, you probably want to read that. But I also, that is the book that kind of made me an award winner, which I was really surprised about, because I don't know who nominated it. It was just like, I got the email and I was like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh, somebody liked it. So to win the category, with all the other amazing books that was actually in that category that year, it was like crazy to me, because it was like, I feel like I'm such a little person to like everybody else. I'm like, I'm not that big of a deal. I see this just like, I write because I like to write. And obviously, if I can like do it without having to work somewhere else, I would love to, because I love writing. But it's one of my favorite stories. I always say, like, I love the two. I love the two of them. So I would say if that's like the one after, then definitely read that one. That's probably the one I would suggest.
Okay. Well, I definitely have to get it on my to be read list. Okay. Well, okay. Again, thank you for joining us and taking the time out to even talk with us about your book and what you have going on. Was there anything else you wanted to tell us?
No, I just thank you for having me. I know I was trying to get to Detroit. It just was so crazy with like everything going on. It was just bad timing. But thank you for just even not only wanting to read the book or that you even listen to the podcast. I appreciate every listener. Anybody who has comments or feedback or anything, I'm very appreciative of it. Not only because it's good to know that somebody got something out of it, but if it's even something that I can get better at, I'm appreciative of that, because again, you want to get better as what you do and how you are as a person. So I always appreciate. So just thank you for like reading the book, and thank you for even having me as part of your book club, and even for just including me in the thing that you do and including me in your books for the year. That was very, very like, I was so appreciative of that. So thank you. That's just thank you, and thank you book club and all.
Thank you so much again. And again, it's my pleasure, our pleasure to be able to support another fine woman of color in her journey of writing. And, I may be contacting you later on to see if you will be able to make it to Detroit. I have a event that I put on called Featuring the Unknown. So, for those independent authors that don't get the promotion that the major publishing companies give, I try to do my part to help out with that. So I'll be keeping in touch with you on that, because I know that you said that your schedule's filling up, but that's a good thing. A full schedule means that, those books are selling as they should. So I'll definitely be in contact with you though, okay?
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will definitely have this post later, and I'll probably have it post on YouTube as well. But as always, happy reading, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye, Kay.
Bye, guys. Thank you.